Select Board meeting, June 4th, 2019. In attendance, Chairman Deedy, Vice Chairman Fox, Clerk Moglen, Chief Administrative Officer Carl Steinhardt, and Cindy Pendleton.
It's been a while since we've done that, huh?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Good to be back.
That's good to hear. As we're gonna get closer to you eventually here. All right, so first up, we're gonna reconvene an open session, which we've just done, and we're going to reorganize the board. So, Mr. Moglen, would you like to be chairman this year?
No,
All right. So then you should make a motion for somebody.
I should.
You should.
I would like to put forth a nomination for Mr. Fox to be
I'll
the chairman.
second
of
that.
the board.
All those in favor?
Aye.
One abstention.
Yeah. Story of your life. All right, so would you like to be vice chairman?
I'd make a motion for
Thank you.
Mr. Mogul to be vice chairman.
I'll second that. All those in favor? Aye.
With one abstention, then,
One
I guess.
abstention, of course. The only thing left is the old clerk.
Oh, I'd gladly put forth that nomination for Mr. Deedy, and congratulations on your reelection to be the
Yeah,
clerk of the works.
lucky me.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Let's rearrange.
Music. Cheers.
Nice
Hi
seeing
again.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Where you wanna go, boss? All right. Pass this guy.
It's like it's me and you, Clip.
Been here before.
I've seen this movie a few times, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
There we go. Well, it looks like we have a full house tonight, but before we begin, this past week we lost a very dedicated employee and a volunteer firefighter, John McKay. John was just an all-around great guy. And what was it, Russ, 34 years on the fire? 32 years on the fire department. And personally for me, a good neighbor for over probably 35 years, 36 years. And even knew his family in Westfield, so we've lost a good person. So I'd like to have a moment of silence for John if we could, and I'd also like to remember the 12 people that were shot in Virginia, municipal employees. So if we could have a moment of silence, please. Thank you. The first thing I have is we have some a ceremony here tonight, and Chief Anderson, if you'd like to.
Just waiting for the band. No, I'm just
Okay, if you'd like to take over.
Sure. So what we'd like to do, as you know, in the past, what we've done is when our new firefighters complete the fire academy, we give them what we call their interior helmet or their yellow helmet. And we have 4 tonight, or 3 that are with us tonight, that have completed that. They spent about 3 months in the Connecticut Fire Academy, and they'll all come out certified Firefighter 1 certification. So they'll become entry-level, full operational firefighters with the department. So I'll come up one at a time. And first, Angelina Avando. Yeah.
Supposed to be put together.
If you want to do that. Go ahead.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well done.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Just walk it.
You better come to this.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was close.
Congratulations.
They'll switch them up later if they're all.
Joe Sitler.
Congratulations.
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 Anthony Anagata.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
And the 4th person who is not with us tonight, Mike Peral, and he's actually on shift in another community. So.
Beautiful.
But All four have done a great job in the academy, scored very well, and will serve us well on our call force.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
It's really the clerk's job, but
Yeah, I
it's
know.
falling down already.
It came down from both ends.
Butterfly today.
Russ, before you leave,
Just 2 seconds. I'm gonna
okay,
do
you
this.
got it, all right. I did forget that I skipped over public comments. Public comments is, it gives people an opportunity, not on the agenda, that would like to make a statement to the board to make a statement. I'd ask if there's anybody that'd like to make a statement, they stand and give their name and address.
I'm Susan Kohansky, 75 Fred Jackson Road. I'm the chair of the Southwick Cultural Council. And we recently had our 20th art show here at the town hall. And we, as the Cultural Council, would like to just state that we're so impressed, and as always, with the maintenance staff between Bob Johnson, Sandy, and Carrie. They go out of their way to make this building not just look beautiful and inviting. They are the most cooperative group of staff members I think you could have. And we just wanted to make that a formal statement.
We thank you, and we thank the Cultural Council for all the work they do, because you guys do an outstanding job.
It's 20 years. Yep.
Wow.
Yes, I'd also like to mention that John McKay was
It-
just a wonderful person.
Yeah.
Yep,
The last few years helping us out as well.
he did. He helped set up for the art show.
Absolutely.
Everything,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. All right, is there anyone else under public comments? If not, we're going back to the agenda. The first thing is payroll warrant number 1926 in the amount of $240,058.80 dated May 28th, 2019. Payables warrant number 1928B dated 6/3/19 in the amount of $83,284.45. Payables warrant 1929B dated 6/3/19 in the amount of $199.47. And next thing up, we need to approve the consent agenda minutes for 5/21/19.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. And we've done the thing, so I guess we are, got a couple of minutes before the liquor hearing, so if we go to the action folder, maybe we can knock off a couple of things. Oh, Russ, that's, I was gonna ask you, you had an issue concerning the pumper trucks?
Oh, yes. So as you're aware, we awarded the contract to the Lexus company. We've been back and forth with some change orders here and there, trying to clarify some of the manufacturing details. So I do have final paperwork en route. So what I would ask is that if you could make some arrangements so that we could get that contract signed in the very near future, that would be great. It's based on the bid that was awarded, so.
It's only an amendment. You've already awarded the contract.
So a motion for the chair to sign when it comes in?
Yep.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it's unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you, chief. All right, next thing I got is 3A, Carl.
This relates to the stuff that
Okay.
Christina and Elena, or Rich Hubbard is here for tonight.
Okay, so they're coming in at 6:50?
Yeah, all of these items relate to the correspondence and the draft conservation restrictions.
Okay, then why don't we go to the liquor hearing, and by the time I read it, it's gonna be about 6:40. So we're gonna have a liquor hearing, Town of Southwick, Board of Selectmen, Liquor Licensing Authority. Notice is hereby given under Chapter 138 of the Massachusetts General Laws that Mark O'Neill, President, Member 141 Associates, has applied for a transfer of the on-premises all alcohol license at Krabby Joe's Bar and Grill at 141 Congamon Road, Southwick, Mass. Previously owned by Scuderi Inc., Manager of Record Patricia Scuderi. Property description. Building consists of first floor, 5 rooms, cellar is 1 room with a bar, extending the dining room area 600 square feet in the back, which includes 3 decks and 1 terrace. Alterations of premises to increase serving area from 10,427 square feet to 11,714 square feet in the former boathouse. The proposed hearing will accomplish a transfer of said license from Scuderi Inc. to 141 Associates, approved new manager Mark O'Neill, establish entertainment licenses, establish and maintain same serving hours as previous licensee. Time and date of hearing June 4th, 2019 at 6:30 p.m. in the Select Board's conference room located at 454 College Highway, Southwick, Massachusetts, by the Board of Selectmen acting as a licensing commission. The Board of Selectmen approved and adopted the draft of amendments to the noise/entertainment liquor license rules and regulations. A copy of the revised rules and regulations pertaining to entertainment licenses can be viewed in the Board of Selectmen's office. Select Board, Joseph J. Didi, Chairman, Russell S. Fox, Vice Chairman, Doug Moglen, Select Person. So we need a motion to open the hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. If we could have the petitioners come forward, please.
Colin? Good evening. Frank Caruso on behalf of the petitioners.
Have a seat.
Thank you.
Mark O'Neill, who is the owner and the proposed manager, and his daughter Colleen, who is his business manager. Good evening.
Good evening.
This is a little bit unusual because although we're doing a liquor license transfer, part of what he intends to do is to completely rehab the building. We're going to knock the old building down and build a new one. He's already engaged LDL Studios of Providence, Rhode Island, a very well-known architectural firm. And Mark is, by occupation, a land developer, a very successful developer down in Connecticut. What his goal was to take what was there now, improve on it, make it a brand new building, a brand new restaurant. He does have a proposal of what he plans to do with it. Mark, you have a copy for the board. His goal, he wishes to name it eventually, and again, it's going to take obviously some time because it's going to complete a renovation. Trios, and what he's looking to do, I've heard talk around town already, as I always do, that this is going to be an upscale restaurant. It's a mid-scale restaurant. It's going to be geared to the clientele that we know is going to be using it. It's going to be not a nightclub, but a restaurant. He doesn't intend to serve after 10 p.m. at night. So his license, he's only looking, he'll finish serving dinners by 10 p.m. He wants everyone out of there by 11 o'clock at the latest, just to clean up. But the actual point of this is to be a restaurant, not a nightclub. So the entertainment license, obviously, when we come in, when the building is finally done, we'll have those restrictions on it anyway. He's already spoken to a couple of well-known chefs. Again, because we're so far down the road, it's hard to give you a menu or what we're doing. But the idea is to take what's there now, improve it, add to the tax base, obviously create additional jobs for the town, do things so we want it to look good. One of the things Mark has already talked to me about is he wants to make sure that he's doing things for the lake community, and he can even talk a little bit about that if you like. He wants to make sure that they're a good neighbor and they're doing what is best for the area. It's very important that property that he owns is maintained properly, which is what he's done his whole life, and he wants to do the same with the Krabby Joe's property.
Okay. Did you want to make any statement, or this?
I'm happy to answer any questions. I think
Okay.
if you read
Are you
that,
crazy or?
I was going to say, I don't know how successful I really am, but we'll accept
Hopefully your other
that,
businesses are doing very well.
you know? Yeah,
I can only say his check cleared. That's all
There
I
you go.
you know, we're kind of excited to take the area and rehab it. How's that? Okay, and create what we think would be a dining experience for everyone that would to come into, family oriented, and you know, a mid-scale casual, let's call it. So yes, you can come in with flip-flops off the boat, you can pedal your bike in from the, you know, from the rail side things, and obviously drive in and be comfortable, and that's what we're looking to do, is to have an indoor-outdoor experience that, and we're cognizant of the neighbors in the lake and the noise, so, you know, we're not looking to have loud rock and roll bands at 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night, believe me, that's just the opposite of what we're looking to do. So, we're trying to remain a little bit clandestine, if you will, so that our concept is not well-known out there. Glenn Lepore, who's one of the principals of LDL Studios, has designed many restaurants, and the Rooftop 120, I don't know if you've been down there in Glastonbury, and he's doing the Ogilvy Country Club right now down in Wheeling, West Virginia, and a wine bar in Dallas, Texas. Very well-known group, and they do very nice presentations and work. Both of the chefs that we're talking to, quite honestly, are both hail from Suffield, and we're looking for that. We'd like to get local people. We're looking for local businesses also that we can, you know, maybe bring farm to fresh tables, whether it's vegetables or beefs. I don't know what's here. We haven't really, you know, but in Suffield we have Hastings Farm, which raises their own beef and stuff. And so anyway, that's sort of what we're looking to do. Obviously, Colleen is the brains and the beauty of the entire operation, as you can probably figure that out. And but she will be absolutely 100% the business operations. Our bar manager and our executive chef obviously is who we look to for the guidance in that. Okay, but we're actively involved, quite honestly. So.
Also, Mark is aware everyone who's a server will be tips trained.
Oh, yeah.
Serve safe, of course. And the architects are very much aware of when you're doing any kind of construction on lake that there's additional things
Precautions.
that have to be done. So
We're sensitive to the areas, and I know that the fire chief is here. We haven't met officially, but for him, he'll be pleased that the building will be completely sprinklered. Also, it'll be a brand new facility. Yeah, right. So anyway,
I was happy when I first met Mark and he told me what he was doing. I thought it was a pretty exciting project for this area too. So I was very happy to get involved with him.
Yeah, and we also wanted to look to the initiative to give back to the lake, so, you know, there will be some sort of, we haven't ironed out details yet because we're not that far into it, but to give some sort of proceeds back to the Save the Lake Foundation, so.
I think it's Citizens Restoring
Yeah.
Congamon or
Correct.
to that, or maybe it goes to the town, we don't know. But we want to be able to do, don't be, look at, see him? He was like, yes.
Anyways,
But you know.
your heart's in the right place.
Yeah, and, you know, like I said, we're cognizant of the people that live there, and we want to be good neighbors, and we believe that working together and cooperatively is going to make mutual relationships that will last for a long time for all of us. So we look forward to coming to Southwick, quite honestly. And if I may say one thing, and I think you should know that everyone that I've dealt with in this town, I mean everyone, from Cindy to Dennis Clark, I believe was his name, and the chief of police, you guys have been great to us. So you should be very proud of your town, believe me. Your staff has been excellent.
Thank you. Any questions from the board?
All right, so what is the real game plan? Are we trying to open up like it exists, or is this coming down sooner than later?
No, completely. Once we get the state approval, we can res the building that's there and
Okay.
put a new one up.
So you don't plan on doing any opening?
No,
okay.
no, brand new building.
Brand new building is how it's gonna work
Yep.
out.
How will that work, Frank, with the description of the premises, because you'll have to,
We're gonna have to
That
come.
was
That's why I said
an
it's a little
alteration of-
unusual because when
you'll
we
have a new
act,
floor plan with new square feet, new buildings.
when they're ready to actually open, they're gonna have to come back here with an alteration to be approved, which
Okay.
also has
Right.
to go
That's
to
what I
the
was
ABCC.
getting at.
That's what I was thinking.
And
of.
the ABCC obviously can't do any kind of inspections yet because of what's
Right, the
happening.
building doesn't
Yeah.
exist.
That's why I said it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
And we've met with the Conservation Commission, and we're not, the footprint that it's on will actually probably decrease instead of increase, so we're not going to encroach on anything. If anything, it's going to get smaller. So,
So the boathouse is coming down, all that's going back up. Everything we see is gone other than the
everything
foundation.
that you see will be gone,
Right.
and a brand-new facility will be there. Probably not as big as that, but a new facility will be there.
And the docks are staying?
Docks are staying.
Those are all chapter 91? So the docks will have to have permits issued then.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys know what you're doing, and you'll get that all figured out as you move forward.
Thank you.
Just put that on your list, Frank.
I've seen a copy of the 91 license, but I can't say for sure that it's actually been approved or in place.
Yeah,
But
just
I've
just
seen
She'll
a
deal
copy.
with it and get
Yep.
that all resolved.
Yeah, and Mr. Scuderi's here too.
And that's outside of a liquor hearing.
That's
so-
right.
Yeah.
I did meet with your engineering firm accidentally for about 45 minutes. And had a great conversation in regards to what you guys are trying to do there.
Oh, okay. Well, that's great.
Yeah, it was just completely off,
Oh.
off the grid, but it just happened to work out, and we talked more about the guy working in Southwick and
Oh,
mentioned
really?
your facility, and 45 minutes later, he finally left. Yeah,
Well, that's great.
yeah,
Okay.
it was a great conversation.
Oh,
So,
good.
Yeah,
I'm
he's
glad.
very excited, and sounds like a great firm, you know. Southwick's not used to that.
Did you meet Glenn?
Glenn, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Where'd you meet, if you don't mind me?
Talked about another.
That's fine. No, that's great. He's actually a really nice.
Yes, yes.
He's a
Very
great
open
guy,
and-
very, very knowledgeable,
Yes.
and cares deeply, you know, has a
Yeah.
good passion for it, if I may say
Yeah,
that.
he
Well, that's
actually-
good. Well,
he
thank
came
you,
by and
sir.
bought an ice cream from me, and we were talking. He's the only guy that came in with a cooler to bring ice cream home, and then that started a conversation. And I actually thought he was talking about Louis B's, and then the more we talked, I realized it was Krabby Joe's. that he
Oh,
was
yeah,
talking about.
yeah. Oh, good.
Yep.
Great guy.
Yeah,
Well,
nice-
thank you
great
very much.
firm.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
Mr. Moglen?
Well, seems like a worthwhile project. We're gonna have to have this come back in front of us when they're closer to done for another hearing on the same
Right.
thing with the square footage, and if I have the right faces and names to go with everything at that time,
Yep.
so. From what I heard, you're not, Krabby Joe's is not gonna open the season as soon as
No.
this hearing's done, or as soon as everything falls into place,
Correct.
that building's going away, new building goes up, then you'll be back in front of us for another hearing.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm all set.
But I'm going to open it up to the public. Is there anyone that would wish to speak in favor of this petition?
Sounds like a good.
Wait. You have to stand up, and you have to give your name and address. Let's do it the right way. The gentleman in the black shirt.
Christopher Pratt with 2 Berkshire Ave. I think it sounds like an awesome move forward in town, so
Oh, well, thank you very much.
hopefully things go well.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Michelle Pratt, 152 Berkshire Ave, welcome.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, we hope to see you there.
We'll be talking.
Dennis Clark, Conservation Coordinator. Welcome to Southwick.
Thank you.
Sounds like a great project. I'd like to talk to you afterwards about the Chapter 90.
Is there anyone else?
Michael McMahon, Economic Development. Just a question. When do you think you'd be opening? Is it 5 months from now or 12 months from now? or-
May I?
Yes, go ahead, Mark.
We're looking for Memorial Day next year, sir.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Anyone else? Is there anyone here that would like to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I'm going to ask for a motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it's unanimous. Congratulations.
Thank
you very
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Welcome to town.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
We'll see you in a few months.
Yeah, a few months we'll return. Thank you again.
Thank you.
They're bank money here or what?
All right, it looks like we're running a few minutes behind, but we have an appointment with Franklin Land Trust in the Division of Fisheries and Wildlife. If you want to come on up.
Good evening.
How you doing, Rich? How are you? It looks like we're getting close.
We are very close.
Good.
Yep. So what we're talking about tonight is a conservation restriction.
Let me just, could you just close that door just a little? Thank you very much.
But not all the way.
Not all the way.
We trained you well.
All right. I'm sorry about that. Go ahead.
That's okay. We gave the conservation restriction, our draft of it, to your attorney last week, I guess, and we got comments back this afternoon. And unfortunately, both our attorneys who need to look at it were not available this afternoon to do so. But there's not major major comments. There's 2 items that I think we could talk about. But perhaps what we could do tonight is approve the conservation restriction with the thought that there might be some changes after the meeting.
Minor changes.
Yep, minor
Right.
changes. So the 2 points,
Well, there was an Exhibit C that was missing. I think that's
Right.
been addressed.
Yep.
I think that's been forwarded.
Yeah, Mark Beglane had to see it, and he was working on it with Ben, as well as their agency counsel.
right,
And then there was language related to if a willful act happens that is not of the doing of the owner.
Right, of the owner, which
Right.
would eventually be the town and the Conservation Commission, that we shouldn't be liable for that. So,
That's the one that probably is going to need to have a
that's going to
further
be
conversation.
Yeah, we'll have, I'm sure, further conversations about that in-house. So a good example would be if people start dumping there, you know, if that clause remains, it means that the town wouldn't have responsibility, that the state would have full responsibility for it.
Yep.
And I think we would see that as more of a partnership there. You know, hopefully the town would take responsibility, but if there were repeated acts of vandalism or dumping, you know, we could work on that together. The other issue that was brought up in the comments was that the town wanted to have the right to build a structure on the waterline corridor, which is a 30-foot wide corridor going down the eastern boundary, right? And that, you know, if the town, I see you're here. Did you put that in there? Yeah, okay. If that's something that the town really feels that they need to do some structure in the future, you know, I don't know where that came from, then we need to talk about that.
is that for the well house
before.
building?
No, the well house building
But that's outside
is-
of the CR.
Wasn't it the fire
It's-
hydrants they wanted to be able to put hydrants on that
It's
line?
not specified. So once, the way that the waterline corridor is running now is that it's going to be part of the conservation restriction. The parking lot, the wellhead, and the access road to the wellhead are excluded. So they are going to be all belonging to the town of Southwick. But the corridor, the waterline corridor, which runs,
So it's just a water line
Down.
underneath a strip of open space.
correct, runs from Bab Road to South Long Yard
Correct.
Road.
Yep.
That's a 30-foot wide corridor that's going to be part of the conservation restriction. Okay, so that means that we will have, the Department of Fish and Game will work with the town to manage that corridor. And that's to your advantage, actually, because we will keep it open when we do burns in there every couple of years. But there was a comment made in the conservation restriction to allow the town to build structures in that corridor. So I don't know who provided that comment, but if,
That would
it-
have probably been Mark Beglane and Ben Coyle.
and that wasn't affiliated with the DPW at all.
No, I wouldn't have asked for that.
No, the fire
Okay,
chief,
so-
if you're not interested in issues with.
First I'm hearing of it.
Yeah, well, don't
Okay.
forget, I mean, you know, council has to make sure those issues are discussed and brought forward, so.
Yep.
To
Do
see.
you know about this building?
Well, I
No,
think
it's not a
there was
building.
a discussion of having fire hydrants along there, and it was a positive thing, because the state said, well, if we have our controlled burns, it would be good to have access to water if things got out of control. So I think I don't know where this came from, but the only structure I ever heard of through any of the meetings that I was involved with was fire hydrant.
And would that be beneficial, chief, if they were doing burning on the?
Can't hurt.
Yeah.
We do them now, I mean, the state does them now with either support from us or themselves.
But they have hydrants off of South Long Yard if they do.
Yeah, Granado, that area.
Yeah, this is the little deeper in.
Right.
This is
But
much deeper in.
keep in mind, the burning is done across, you know, behind the game farm, basically all the game land, all the open fields.
Right.
So that's a discussion that we can have with our manager, the wildlife management area staff, the biologists, and the fire people.
And why don't, Russ, you want to follow up on this to make
Yeah,
sure?
I mean, usually Karen, I believe it's Karen, and I forget her last name. She's usually.
Karen Calju?
Yes.
Yep.
She's usually the one that contacts us and been
Yeah.
out there for the last 2 years for burns. So she would have a good handle on whether it's, would help or
Whether
not
it's
help.
necessary. So I'll talk to Karen.
And we can find one, Attorney Beglin put it in there, you know,
Yeah.
what his thought was on it.
Mhm.
Maybe it could have just been fire hydrants, and that was the language they used.
I
Yeah.
didn't know whether there was a need for, with the length of pipeline that long, a pump.
No,
Nope. Okay. That's the only
So-
thing I could think of. So.
Okay.
So
Oh.
it appears that nobody knows anything about
Yeah.
this.
Okay.
I mean, that's the only thing I can think of as well, would be a fire hydrant. For the purpose of a legal definition, that's a structure, right?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I don't want to run till later, we decide that that's a good idea to have them, and then, oh, that's a structure, you can't have a structure, so.
Correct,
If
and
it's
then-
as simple
then-
as that, then it's probably not a disagreement really at all, it's just for the purpose of what, for the legal agreement, that's what it
Yeah.
has to be.
So pretty much everything is the same that when we had that original meeting in March, correct?
Mm-hmm.
You know, we can remove some of those bigger trees in the trailways so that people can access and the trails and things
Yes,
like
we're not going to do that, but you can do
Right,
that.
right,
Yep.
right, but,
Yeah.
okay.
I think there'll be some sort of a cleanup organized when all of this, when it's, the ownership is in your hands to
Yeah.
go out there and clear trails and pull
Right.
up to some cinder blocks
Yeah.
and things like that.
I read over, it's pretty defined on
Yeah.
the width and things like that, and
Yeah.
nobody wants to clear cut anything.
No.
But, like I think I said at that original meeting, there's some big trees that
Yes, there
people have to
are.
climb over
very
that,
big.
Yeah.
should have access, especially for people with disabilities or older folks.
Definitely, definitely.
All
Steve,
right.
Are you all set with Levesque's firm and the latest,
Yep,
surveys and all that for your agency and DCS?
yes. And they will be attached to the conservation restriction as part of the legal description of the land.
All right. Yeah, I went over that. I'll take that back from the picture. I went over it today. The governor's office was here today going over a bunch of issues with the town. This was one of the topics we went over.
Really? Oh, good. Very good. Yeah, so we're in the home stretch.
It's been a long, well, look, this
He had to
guy
retire.
retired.
He had to retire.
They won't let me go though. I'm wearing an
They
ankle,
said you
I'm
gotta
wearing an
finish
ankle
it?
bracelet
Right,
tonight,
yeah.
so they know
Finish
where I am.
this before you get that retirement, watch.
Check in with the police before.
Comments, questions?
Yeah, there's no formal signature the council has appraised of us of, but it's more of a vote of endorsement or support for it.
Yeah.
There's no legal.
We're the ones who'll end up
Right.
dealing with that part.
Right, you're the ones who
before-
sign
yeah.
it.
So-
Prior to the close, right?
Right,
So then
right.
it gets conveyed as part of the closing to the
Right.
town,
Correct.
right?
It's all gonna be
Yeah.
simultaneous.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right, because the borrowings are all being finished now, so we're just trying to figure out who's doing the distribution and who's getting what. We're waiting to hear from.
Well, our
All the
attorney
parties.
should be in touch with you about wiring instructions and all that stuff.
And what is made payable to whom.
Yeah.
We
yeah.
need to know
Well,
that.
Dick, my guess is it'll all flow into his trust account and he'll come with disbursement checks that need to be dispersed.
Yeah, well, Ben hasn't informed me of
Yeah.
how that's gonna run down now, so we need to.
I know
get
Dick's
that
been in touch
finalized.
with Ben.
As long as we don't see anything going to the Cayman Islands, we'll be happy, all right?
I'm retiring, but not that way.
Mr. Didi? Okay.
Great.
Great.
Thanks,
All right,
guys.
then
Thank
we
you.
Appreciate it.
We thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for all your hard work.
Yeah.
We need to take a motion.
I think it would be a good thing for the board to do at this point, would probably be just to summarize it into a motion, the support of the conservation restriction worked out between the parties and approved by town council.
So moved?
So moved.
Do we need the chair to sign anything moving forward versus all of
There's no
us?
again, there's no
It's gonna be done.
signature of the town.
Or
They
any of
still own
the,
it.
or any of the tweaking of the attorney stuff we don't need to be involved with?
Well, the chairman can do that.
So on that, the chairman can deal with that. I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you
Very
very
good.
much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank
See
you.
all
Thank you,
again.
Russ.
We're headed there.
Good to see you. Take care.
Thanks, Joe.
Yes, sir.
Cindy?
Next time.
All right. So we've done all our appointments, then we're going to the action folder. And the next thing I have is 4A, is that correct?
Yep.
Yep.
All right. I'm gonna make a suggestion. and you can tell me yes or no.
Nope, nope.
Okay. That's what we like.
We're gonna make this easy for you, Mr.
Team
Chairman.
effort, that's what I like, gentlemen, team effort. We have scheduled a meeting for next Tuesday at 6:30 PM. What I'd like to suggest, instead of having a regular meeting next Tuesday at 6:30 PM, have a work session that begins at 6 PM to cover several issues that we can work on this summer. The first and most important one would be to meet with the DPW director about the roads and his recommendation for work projects to be done. And then to try to address some of the other issues that, you know, for example, we were going to work on forming a committee for the fiber optics, you know, where the people from Westfield came in. We did talk about revisiting transportation, Franklin and PVTA. And then there's a couple other things that we had talked about, you know, our policies and procedures concerning our security cameras and recordings and things
That's
like that.
everything we put you in charge of when you were vice
Right,
chairman.
that's why I want
And
the
you've
work
done nothing,
session.
So now
That's-
you're gonna pawn it back off on us?
That is correct.
Okay.
That is
I just wanna
correct.
get that clear.
Just want to make sure you understand how I work.
And so it begins.
It begins. Yeah, here comes the
So,
hustle.
does anyone object to having a work
I
session
think we
next
object to
Tuesday?
that completely. That's fine.
Okay.
Are you available, sir?
Yes.
Okay, so we will begin at 6 PM for a work session, if you want to post that, Cindy. And then we can also review the summer schedule
Then, yeah.
and at that work session,
Perfect.
okay? Cindy? All right, 5A is the first reading or second reading on the sick
The
leave?
first one.
First
Yep, this
reading.
is just updating it per Labor Council's recommendations.
Okay. Do you want to just give a brief synopsis?
He
What's
just on
changed?
item 5, if you look on the third page on item 5, he's just putting limits on, making it a little bit tighter and putting limits on it, so that's something he wanted to make changes on that. And then how people, you know, elect to contribute to it and donate to it and become a member of it. So those are the two items under sections 5 and 9.
Okay.
And they're, you know, they're all word processed there for you and underlined.
Okay. So this is our first reading of this. Our second reading will be at our next official meeting.
Yep.
6A is from Sergeant Kirk Sanders. Without reading the whole letter, Sergeant Sanders has announced that he will be retiring on Friday, September 6th, after nearly 40 years of serving the town of Southwick. He would be facing mandatory retirement in March of 2020, but he's decided to retire in September 6th. So he's officially notified everyone.
Yep.
And we'll be assisting him with the process going forward. The next thing, 7A, is a letter from Lieutenant Robert Landis. And the letter is concerning, and we've had this discussion about establishing a shooting range for our police officers.
Instead of going out of town.
Instead of going out of town, because it's become more complex, and it's also become a financial issue because of scheduling. So I guess he has been working with you, Randy, DPW, Conservation, and has put forward a suggestion that there is a parcel near the transfer facility. Is that correct, Andy?
Yes.
Do you want to give us a little more detail that you know about?
Well, I know they had a meet with Mass DEP maybe a couple weeks ago because we do have a permit to use that facility. And then if there's a change in the use, DEP needs to be involved. I think the location they're looking at is not within the areas that we are using right now for our facility.
Right.
If you know the area, it's behind there's a cell phone tower, kind of in the woods a little bit.
Yeah.
They're looking at, a couple of feet beyond that cell phone tower.
Okay. And certainly they're probably going to be doing this, any shooting when you're not in operation.
I would hope so.
Well.
I don't know if that's their thoughts though, but
Okay.
I would recommend having it not used during our facility.
Okay.
hours of operation.
Yeah, your emails speak to EP's okay, the zoning enforcement officer's okay with it.
Right.
In terms of the use, it's a use.
All right. So why don't we, before we give a golden handshake to this, why don't we make sure that we have a meeting with Randy and the police chief and Lieutenant Landis and any other parties that we think that should be there, just to make sure that everyone is happy. And maybe we might also want to go out and look at the site ourselves to see exactly where it is.
Make sure you got a vest on, young man.
Don't wear that
Orange
antler hat.
vest.
Something.
Orange vest.
You can just do a site visit. You can do a site visit.
We'll do a site
so
visit.
He's going out first.
That's
So,
right. Chair goes first.
Chair goes first, yeah.
All right. Is that agreeable to everybody?
transfer
Since you
station
put it that
closed?
way, absolutely.
All right.
They close on Mondays, Thursdays, and Sundays.
So, maybe Monday or Thursday we can go out. That way
Okay.
there'll be no witnesses.
No, I think we should go out while the transfer station's open, make sure we all come back.
Okay,
The
8A.
cell service will improve when they start doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll be able to ping you. Bing. This is last.
Oh, 8A and 8, these are all
Yes,
the
all
backup
together. Yep.
documentation from
Yeah, see the picture, where it is.
picture, the location,
Yep.
the whole thing. Okay.
That's a hell of a one.
We're gonna have to
Got to get the fire
establish it.
department involved with their mule to get there.
Right, they're gonna have to do some clear cutting to get to this facility, so. And by the way, thank you very much for assisting us with helping out with that North Pond issue.
Site visit.
Site visit.
10A is not, the picture with 10A is for 9A. 10A is something altogether different.
Okay, so 10A is a letter from Randy Brown, DPW Director. It's concerning his high school internship program, and Randy has a candidate. Would you like to tell us who that is?
Yeah, we met with
Jennifer.
Jen
Moscow.
Moscow.
Sorry, yeah, she's a senior. She's a senior next year. She's looking to get into engineering as a career. So we've had two great candidates work for us the last 2 summers, and we're looking to continue that for this year. So the feedback we got from the students both times was very positive. They're very appreciative of the program and the offerings that we've been able to show them, and we think it's a great program to continue.
Good.
She's a good kid too. She plays in the band. I coached her in basketball when she was like 9. Now she's a senior in high school.
You're still playing
And
basketball?
her parent, they own the new
Power
small
equipment.
engine repair place.
Oh,
across next to
okay,
Hardee's.
okay.
Gotcha
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah. Tom.
But she's a good kid.
all right. No, we've been a big supporter of that internship program, so it is a good program.
Yeah.
We don't need
You've
any.
already okayed him to
Do
bring
you need-
Connor
do you-
back for the summer, so.
Do you need a vote or anything, or you're all set?
We're all
I
here.
just want to let you know, I'm not sure if you do, but
I don't
Okay.
Good move.
You sign off on it, Russ, no.
All right. 11A is a letter from Rick Johnson, who runs motocross. And Rick Johnson would like to work with some Springfield veterans group to help them organize a foot race. They apparently have backpacks filled with donations of food, and they run a difficult track. So it's some sort of fundraiser. They'd like to do it on October 20th, 2019. It's a Sunday, and there is no request for liquor.
No?
So it's just a good cause.
Yeah, well, it's an amendment of the license. Remember, you have already got a permit
Right.
that has a delineated list of events and dates.
So we'd like
this-
to add-
This therefore amends that.
Add that. All right, so we need a motion so that WIC 338 can have this
fundraiser.
That's a
Fundraiser
great idea.
for the
So
veterans.
moved.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Very nice of us to do that. 12A is a letter from the Board of Trustees. They've interviewed 3 candidates for the position of library director, and they're making a recommendation. And we have the chairman of the library trustees here. Mr. McMahon, would you like to tell us who that candidate is?
Lynn Blair is currently the director of the West Hampton Public Library.
And she'd like to make the move here to Southwick.
Right. She was previously.
She was here one
the-
time.
The young adult librarian.
Yeah.
And then she
okay.
moved to West
If you had
Hampton
read the
to become
application,
director.
sir,
Yeah.
you would have noticed that.
Wow.
And I thought it was redacted here. I'm like, wow, this is Secret
Did
Service.
you get that
stuff.
license plate, Mr.
Yeah.
Chairman?
Jesus.
Yeah, no, it's highlighted on the version.
Yeah, I understand it. Here it's redacted, so I wasn't sure.
It's like the Mueller report.
Yeah. I think we're hiring somebody, but I just don't know.
So that's your recommendation.
Yes.
So personnel board needs to make a
Offer of
motion.
employment,
Offer-
motion upon,
The yada yadas. This is a
Right.
yada yada one.
right,
Contingent on references, Corey, physical,
right, the
etc.
references are done, but it would be the Corey and the
Physical.
physical.
Okay.
So moved.
I'll second that.
And then furthermore, you should authorize the chairperson of the library trustees and myself to negotiate a letter of understanding with the candidate.
Is that part of your motion?
Sure.
Second, yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You said you made things.
Mike,
We would do that, Michael, after the other stuff.
once everything's all set, would you like to come back with the trustees and the new librarian at some future date?
Sure.
So we can introduce her to the public official?
Right.
It's coming, Diane's retirement's coming fast. It's gonna be by the end of the month, time is flying.
That's right.
So you still haven't paid your library dues, they have to come here.
Listen.
Yeah. You better be careful.
It was an accident, okay?
Okay.
Bookman. The next thing is also a letter from Diane Caruso, Director of the Southwick Public Library. It's concerning their summer summer page, they call it, position for Zachary Smith. And this would be a $12 per hour position, 18 hours per week. It's a non-union summer position. And Zach is a current teen volunteer at the Southwick Public Library, completing his junior year at Westfield Technical Academy in June. So I need a motion to approve hiring of Zachary Smith.
So moved.
That's an unbenefited position, so besides a Corey, it does not need a physical or anything else.
Okay.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 13A is job description that, Randy, you did this one, correct?
Correct.
For a stormwater coordinator.
Labor Council's okayed it.
And Labor Council's okay. You want to give a brief,
Yeah, we've talked about the stormwater permit for several years now.
Have we?
Yes. So there's a lot of effort involved, and we need staff to implement these tasks and these programs accordingly. So we are looking at to fill that create a part-time position, probably 18 hours a week. And this would be the responsibilities would be fulfilled in that job description.
okay.
So I took the Westfield job description and kind of modified it.
Modified.
To what their job description
Okay.
entails.
Would the person be working year-round, Randy, or just work
I believe so, yes.
year-round? Okay. All right. Motion to accept the stormwater coordinator job
It's
description.
town meeting funded it, so.
And the posting while we're at it?
And the posting while we're at it.
So moved.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 15A is a letter from Ellen Miles, who is left the building. But Ellen was a member of our historical commission, but she's regrets because of her work schedule that she is going to be resigning from the historical commission. So we need a motion to accept her resignation.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. And a motion to post that we're looking
Yeah.
for members for the Historical Commission.
I'll make the motion and get on my soapbox for a second. I mean, we had this discussion at town meeting. Now, it was, we need people to come out and that want to volunteer their time on these boards and commissions. Now's your chance. Here's one, and there's, in short order, there'll be plenty of other annual appointments coming up. So anyone who wants to submit a letter of interest for any board or commission is more than welcome to do so. So moved.
Yeah, my understanding at town meeting was we should clean house on all our boards and commissions.
Absolutely.
And start fresh with everybody, because all we do is rubber stamp things around here, so I'll second that motion, but.
Well, I didn't go that far, but.
No, I'm just telling, that's what I heard, so. Yeah, I'm all for it, just rearrange all the boards, what the heck? Liven things up a little bit, but the problem is you got no one coming in
I'd love to see some
do it.
folks, some new people, and, folks say, I'd like to serve on a commission.
Yeah.
I'm interested in this, or, what's available.
I
whether
do
it's
believe our
historical
town
or-
moderator got a few letters after, and he was kind of excited, because some of them were from the banking world. And
That's
really-
fantastic.
Yeah.
Love to see it.
That was good to hear.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And we'll do a certificate of appreciation for Ellen.
Yep.
Okay, next thing I got is from the Southwick Fire Department, Russ Anderson, and it's concerning stipends. Chief Anderson.
Yeah, educate us on this one, sir.
So, in our quest for advanced life support, we've spoken in the past that the hospital, our arrangements with the hospital are gonna require us to have double, what we call double medics, so 2 medics on at once plus a basic, so a staff of 3. During the daytime, the deputy will take that role as a field training officer type of role, mentoring and getting these folks up and running, because some of them are newer EMTs. But Rich can't work 7 days a week.
What?
Why not?
Because his wife wants him.
Wines, I don't know.
No.
They still like each
I
other.
talked to her, and she said 7 days a week is
Which is
fine. Too
fine,
bad there's
yeah,
not 8.
That's what she
right?
does.
Yeah, no issues, yeah. She didn't know who he was.
So, we've actually, some of the applicants we've already put forward and have been appointed that are seasoned medics that would be part of our crew down the road.
Right.
But in this meantime, this transition, that, 1 year, 3 year type of window, they would be helping us to get the newer medics up and running. So with all that said, we didn't have a pay rate for them.
Right.
So the deputy done a lot of research on what the market bears, our private industry counterparts, our fire counterparts, and came up with a formula that seemed fair. So what you have in front of you is basically a paramedic call force pay rate, which serves 2 things. That down the road, that would be the base for someone working tonight that's on with another basic when we're up and running 100%. It would also serve, you'll see there's a stipend for when they're acting as a field training officer. So if they take a shift, they get that rate, and if they're serving as that field training officer, observing and teaching, they get a rate for medic and they get a rate for basic, 2 different dollar rates, whether they're training a basic EMT or a paramedic. So that would get us set. This money is estimated in this year's budget that was approved.
Chief, is there a limit on how many per diem shifts could be done in a week?
Well, you have 7 shifts.
No, but
plus
how many times one person can do?
Is there an hour thing?
From a Fred
I
Dupre.
think from a Fred standpoint, there's not, as long as it's a stipend and not an hourly rate.
Okay.
Matter of fact, Fred's office just challenged us on that, because there were some people that were kind of red flagging, that they were doing a lot of shifts, and they were concerned.
Oh, that's right, when you and I met with you.
Right, so then we took an individual that used to be a very frequent.
They get the awards for attendance.
Right.
Those
So,
people were tripping
but they go up and
criteria.
down. So for instance, one person might be working 4 shifts for a couple months, and then he disappeared to 1 shift for, so it all averages out. And they were fine with that as an answer. The issue is, once we get up and running, and hopefully we're gonna have people taking their 1 or 2 shifts a week, and that's it. But it's gonna take a little bit to get there.
Plus, you needed to phase in all these new authorized positions that you gotta fill.
Correct.
Because we're losing somebody to Barnes.
Right.
So they did a good job training people. Now you have that turnover, so this also helps fill those shifts.
Yeah.
Well, this is all part of the, what we
No,
had
no, it
planned.
absolutely is.
Right.
And it compares to what these guys are, like our full-time force is making now, like we're not.
Below them. So we,
Okay, right.
we were sensitive to the career force.
Right.
And where they're at. Obviously, there's no benefits with this, so it's a little different, but.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's below their overtime rate or pay scales and all that type of stuff, so.
And how would, so a career person, would they be able to grab some of these or no? I don't even,
They get overtime. They don't-
right, so
So-
they get overtime anyway, so it doesn't really even,
Yeah, if they're
They
under
wouldn't
union
trip it per diem,
contract.
because they'd get overtime if they got scheduled for that shift.
Unless their other extra work is outlined under a different memorandum of agreement.
yeah, I don't even know
So,
if that,
there's a couple things on that.
if that's a scenario or not. I just
Yes.
wondering.
However, when we started down this road, the field training officer has to, with the hospital on board, you have to have a regimented, what are you doing? So we had to develop policies, is this what a person will do, this is what they'll check off, these will be the thresholds and the bars you have to meet. We went back and forth with the union through that for a couple of things, and then ended up with an MOU that allowed them to do this, for
Yeah,
the
I
same
didn't-
number.
Yeah,
Right.
gotcha.
We get a
So-
separate instrument.
Yeah, yeah,
Now,
good.
we have not utilized that yet,
Haven't needed to.
just because that structure needs to be, we're still refining it, so. but
This
I-
is non-union stuff.
No, understood. I just thinking out loud
They will,
about how that
they
does or doesn't
can have the
work.
same opportunities if they agree to the same standards.
Right,
I guess that's,
even if they have the time for it, who knows? Right,
is that accurate?
Yes.
yeah.
So the board needs to vote to adopt this stipend structure, effective tonight or July 1st?
Call it tonight, just to be good.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You finally got that in, it took you half hour.
Yeah, yeah, I just,
And while
eye
we're on that
contact.
topic, Rich did receive a letter from the state approving our ALS.
That was my next
license.
question. What are we thinking, boys?
However,
The trucks had to be orange or something? We
No,
can't do
it's
it?
like, okay, you gave us this blessing, now I'll allow this blessing to go to our drug licensing. Now we're waiting for the drug licensing. Once we get the drug licensing, there's a couple other hoops, so in reality, July 1st probably, so, but we're close.
I think that's
Very
what you were
close.
thinking anyways, wasn't it?
We were
June or
hoping
July?
June 1st, but
June 1st,
if we
yeah.
shot for June, we might hit July. So that seems the reality.
Yeah, but this has been a yeoman project, and you guys have done phenomenal to get where we are right now.
Yeah.
So-
you
This is
needed
really the last
You
step.
needed the
Yeah.
energy of this guy
Oh,
for last
definitely,
year.
yeah, more than
Thank
energy.
you.
Yeah.
You guys have done great.
It's just that he doesn't work 7 days a week yet.
I know
You that was,
it. If he works 7 days a week,
Well,
maybe you should give him an
in
office. with a
hours
window.
he does. He's just not here the days.
Maybe you should get the office with the window. Maybe that would change things.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know.
All right, I still have things in the folder, but they're not on the agenda. Are we still?
Those are chair mail.
Chair mail, okay. Next thing I have is
moved without
from
my chair.
Tom Fitzgerald, and it looks like it's accepting a grant. Grant for
Yeah, I met with him on this.
$2,400 per year.
Well, what happened was
The
this,
fee,
the
the license fee will be.
what had happened is the first year of this grant for this Food Code Pro, which is to help them track licensing issues for food permits and so forth, would be free. The second year would be $2,400. So, because I wanted to make sure the board knew that if they took year one, then if they wanted to continue on in year two, which there's not an obligation, then you'd have to decide that you value that program and you're giving them a tool, just like you're giving other departments tools for their tracking, like the tracking of permits in the clerk's office and the tracking of other things in other departments. This would be something that you would be,
Track the Board of Health permits that are
would
issued
be able
once
to
a
do
year.
this, and you would be able to
Expire December
you would be able to
31st.
revisit this issue during the budget
Exactly,
process
that's
to
the
make a
exact
decision.
forum to discuss that, right.
Right, but this is to make sure you know that in year two, if you do this, there would be a cost in year two going forward, but year one would be accepting the grant, which is no cost at this time.
with no obligation for a year, Tom.
Right,
Because they can iron that out in the budget process if they
Right.
want to do it.
right, but I just wanted to make sure the board went into this with its eyes open on what the outlying years would be.
Okay.
We don't need to vote on that, right?
I
That's
think the
enough.
Board of Health was looking for you to.
Endorse it.
To endorse the acceptance of the grant because you are the contracting authority.
I mean, since there's no cost, I know, and they can accommodate this in the budget process next year, and plus there's some changeover coming in that board. So I would make a motion to allow them to do it on a trial basis for a year at no cost.
Is there a second?
Board of Health permits for foods expire December 31st every year. I'm not quite sure what we're tracking. Tracking that they have to be reissued, and every year I have to walk out to 10 businesses and knock on their door and say, could you please send your money in so the town doesn't have to write a nasty grant? Is that what we're tracking? I'll second the motion because it's free. I'm not supporting it when we gotta write a check.
Would you feel more
Well, that's
comfortable
consistent
with?
with Doug's motion, which is
Yeah,
a trial
absolutely.
basis for a year.
Yeah, I just.
And let them argue it at the budget process.
Right,
We
let 'em
just went
yeah.
through this with the town clerk.
Right.
With the elected boards and appointed boards software, and they made a compelling argument.
This new way they did it this year, it's gonna be hard. You're not gonna get your license from us until you've paid them. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
seconded the motion.
All right, so we got a motion and a second. It's for a trial basis and to be argued out in the winter. All in favor?
Aye.
I think it's unanimous.
Yes, it's unanimous.
Okay.
I just,
Now this is, it looks like a warning, portions north Middle Pond.
Yep, the lake treatment is gonna be done next Monday.
Okay, so, and this is gonna go out on our, do we still have a Connect City or is it Code Red now?
No, we have Connect City still. Cindy's finishing the document to
And so
give
we-
the fire chief the new information to implement.
July 1.
Right.
Right, but we gotta start that in the next week.
And the town crier will also have it?
Yeah, and it's, more importantly, the emails have been sent to the different
Okay.
entities that need to know, including fire.
And Randy, the transfer station has been very helpful with their sign to help us out on different things too. So I know this is a little wordy, but maybe they could do something for us.
Yeah, if you give me some information, right now we got signs, stickers are available, so I kinda wanna get that message.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's
All
right.
right. That's more important. That's more important. All right. And we can give a copy to the young lady reporter over there in the corner, you know.
Young lady, thank you, appreciate it.
You're welcome. 7A is from Bacon and Wilson. And
Yeah,
this-
we're still waiting for that information from
That's what I
the,
thought, yeah.
for the host community agreement for
That's
the
it.
finances of the Southwick Greenhouse.
Okay.
We did the first one, huh?
Yep.
Right, and it's the same attorney, so,
Yeah.
you know, so I don't know what seems to be holding it up, but it's holding it up.
I think it's the information that his client has to give him because it's a different client.
Okay. And the last thing in the folder is a letter from Randy Brown.
Yep, I knew.
Concerning the roads, and we're gonna meet next Tuesday at 6 PM. Is that good for you, Randy?
That's fine, I don't wanna wait too long. 'cause
Nope.
No, that's why we're doing it.
Contractors are,
No, we're
got their
ready.
schedules already booked for the year, so.
And we don't wanna wait too long either. All right, that goes through everything. Now we're going to old business, and one of those was the host agreement, so we know that's on hold. The roads project, so that's what we're gonna do next Tuesday. Any other old business? Mr. Steinhardt?
Yes, I have been, I've had discussions with both the prospective buyer of the old library and council, and we're envisioning by the end of the month, there will be the transfer of the property of the old library.
I know Carl.
Yep.
Okay.
He did his exit.
Well, that's good news. That is very
Okay.
good news. All right. Just to remind me, the process for doing the actual work, it's over a 2-year period, is that correct?
Yeah, because it could take a while, but the person is given a certain period of time under the
Right,
specifications.
but we should start to see improvements to the
Uh,
property.
you know, the previous chairman and myself have had conversations with the town attorney, as well as meeting with the buyer and the historical commission to go over all the different issues that are gonna need to be done, and we have no reservations that it will be worked on fairly quick.
So in layman's terms, lawyers were making a lot of money a couple of weeks ago, so we got everyone in the room, except the lawyers, and we had everything figured in about 15 minutes. Everything's all set, closing should be within a week or two. And they are ready to paint and go to town.
Good.
Literally ready. Brought new schematics of the paintings, the colors. Everyone's on the same page, everyone's thrilled.
There will be a physical presence fairly quick.
Yeah.
Into the building, using it and getting it, like internet and phone and all that, so there'll be a presence there immediately, and then they'll start determining which vendors are gonna do what components of the work, and then they have a regular rapport and contact information with our historical commission.
Yeah.
Any chance they're considering doing that roof line, that artwork?
Yep.
Oh, good.
Oh, yeah.
Excellent.
Whatever's called for in the RFP.
Yep. And the colors are a beige and something, they went back in time with the colors, and yeah, it looks really good.
I mean, that was that was the intent of what the board brought to town meeting, so it's being carried out, and
I think it's great.
I mean, it's the money, you're only getting a nominal amount of money at the closing. You know that. The important thing is
You can cancel that Lloyd's of London policy.
That is
and get that
correct.
off the books.
Once I get the scheduled date of the
Yes.
closing, then I can let Maya know that we don't need to renew it, which would be for July 1st, so.
You know, get it back in the tax rolls, so.
Back in the tax roll and restoring and protecting the building.
Right.
All right, so we've accomplished a lot of things. That can, right, was kicked down the road.
Well, if you
That was the term you used a lot, yeah. I'm
Look
glad
how
to
it's
see that
healing
finally
all of
done.
a sudden, you see how bad the
Yeah.
outside's getting?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
quickly?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's just
Any other old business?
I just want, I know we accepted his resignation, but I just wanted to publicly thank and wish well wishes to firefighter Brogan, who's been here a long time, and he's leaving the employee of the town, taking another opportunity at Westover. Barnes, sorry.
Staying with the call force.
Staying with our call force.
Oh,
but,
good to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I met
Which
with
is
him, I
excellent.
saw him.
He's a good guy, and he's helped the
Yeah.
department a lot. Sad to see him go, but glad that he's staying.
Right. It's a good opportunity for
Yeah,
him.
no, absolutely, for him and his
And
family.
he's been well educated by our department and developed, and as of all the other ones that have gone on to other careers.
No, I'll second that on a personal note because of the assistance he provided me one morning.
That was the
That-
Was that before you bought a suit of armor?
Right.
Or your wife got your suit of
He
armor?
did an outstanding job.
He was the ice pack guy?
He was the guy that gave me the good news.
He
So-
guarded you from the animal control officer.
Right.
Wow.
Protected me from the animal control officer also. So, absolutely. We're losing a fine guy, but it's great to know that we're still gonna see him from time to time. All right, we're going to new business. Mr. Steinhardt?
Mr. Chairman, today I met with Patrick Carnival, who's the governor's rep for Western Massachusetts, and we went over a whole host of issues, including the needed increases in Chapter 90 funding. And so there has been some discussion about another supplemental amount over and above the 200 million authorization, which only nets us about 360, because we get about 180,000 per 100 million. So we talked about that. I asked him to look into the status of the environmental bond bill updates for the information that Dick has been sending to them about the alum treatment. We talked about the Cowles Bridge impact in terms of general conditions money needing to be developed into the project budget for that bridge project up there in Westfield, because that's going to affect, at the very least, Sunnyside and maybe even North Long Yard with rerouting of traffic, as well as roads within their own community for
Correct.
rerouting. And then we talked about the status of the North Pond and how the state had, EOEA had been a partner with the financing for the land acquisition funds.
Good.
So we went over a whole host of things, and it was a very productive meeting.
Good. Any other new business?
No.
Joe?
I just have, I'm not gonna say anything out loud, this was what was discussed a while back in regards to, some people in town trying to,
Yep.
a little ceremonial bench of sorts. So this is the stuff on it, and should, we wanna look into maybe Selectmen's gift account for $50 or something down the road.
Yeah.
We can visit it at another time, but that is the stuff on it.
Yeah, and the gentleman came and saw me.
Yes, he came and saw everybody.
And I explained to him about, this is tremendous. It's-
Yep.
We thank him very much, but I
And
said
I'm
that we
reaching
have
out
to.
to all the departments and
Right.
handling all that, so.
Right. So that, absolutely. I know that he wants to keep it a secret,
Yep.
and so we'll respect that. Not trying to be vague, but
Yeah.
it would be a donation that would benefit the town.
That's all
I forgot one thing.
Go
Sorry.
ahead.
Last Friday, I did sneak over to attend the opening at Babs Beach with First Selectman Mack from Suffield, and also our moderator and chair of the Southwick 250 Committee, Mr. Putnam, was there. I did talk to Mr. Leclerc, who's the chair of their Park and Rec, regarding them potentially allowing Southwick residents to be able to utilize Babs Beach without having to be subject to a fee from out of town, because I reminded them that when those Suffield residents enter the water at Babs Beach, they're technically within the Commonwealth of Mass. He took it under advisement. But on a lighter note, Mr. Putnam, myself, and Ms. Mack talked about
Parade?
the parade. We have, of all things, within 100 years, our parades come down to the same day. Oh, and Mr. Phelps was there as well. And we had a delightful conversation, and
Who won?
we all won,
Okay.
Mr. Clerk. Ms. Mack has float envy. She loves the Southwick float.
It's for sale.
I told her that, but unfortunately her parade is before ours, and we still need it later that afternoon. But
Too bad.
Mr. Putnam and Ms. Mack are working out where they're going to stagger the parades so that one's after the other, and it'll be okay that they're on the same day.
Nice.
And I believe that involved the commitment of the 250th float to be in their parade, and then they will then represent in our parade, and hopefully we'll get folks from Suffield to come to ours, and we'll go to theirs, and everyone's happy. No need to call up the militia, Mr. Chairman. It's all good. I know they were at the ready. I had that in my back pocket if
I
we
have a
needed it.
station in Boston.
I know.
I'll bring
She's
them
seen
out.
the video. I know.
That's right.
So, but
Doug did send her the video.
I did send her that video. Well, but it's all good, and it was great that Mr. Putnam was able to meet with Ms.
That
Mack
is
and those,
fantastic. That is fantastic. Because I thought
That's
that
all
was gonna become an issue
No,
when we talked about
it absolutely
in a
is
couple
not
of
going to be an
weeks.
issue.
Good.
The toughest one will be getting our float there and back in time for our own parade. And
Yeah,
I mean,
We'll
you're already competing that weekend with the Harvest Fair in another community, right?
Well, we might need the militia for that one, so we'll keep our powder dry.
Community?
They gotta go through ours to get there, so that's
That's
not gonna
correct.
happen, so.
Oh, and that road's blocked. I
That's
guess.
right.
I guess we don't have a.
That's where we put the firemen with the boot, right? Holding out for go. Absolutely. We've done that
That's the
before.
weekend we do it.
We've done that before, exactly. We could change and put the firemen and the cops there. It'll be all good. All right.
All right. Any other new business?
No, I've done enough damage.
All right. Do we need to have an executive session
No, sir.
tonight? All right, then I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
Do you want to mention this or?
Not tonight.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Say it.
All in favor?
Aye.